So after nearly 7 months of inaction, trains are once again running on my railroad. My house flooded due to a issue with the washing machine, and basically had to redo about 2/3 of the house's flooring and basically the entire front of the house, all 3 floors. I had to refloor the top floor. All the washing machine spilled out into the common area between my kids' rooms. Laminate, trashed that. As I found out, right behind the washing machine was the main air conditioning duct returns all the way down to the basement. So the water went under the wall behind the washing machine, in addition to coming out into the common area between the kids' rooms, and traveled all the way down to the base, down the main floor, and then all the way down to the basement. There, actually, got the ACs back over on the backside of the train room, where my workbench is, and was just an absolute disaster, truly. Between August 7th, 8th, somewhere in there, and we've got our final inspection January 17th-ish. So this is truly the first time that the trains have run since that point. For the guys that had to get in here and do, I planned the entire layout based on, I'm going to kill everything for a second. I planned the entire layout based on, width-wise, on having to get the air, HVAC, heating unit out at some point. So that is modular. There's no brakes, but I mean, this will come out here and here. Originally it was designed to be a swing away, but I don't think I'll ever make it that. It'll just have to get taken out if it needs to come out, because as I found out, the AC guys are like, man, I don't want to mess with it. Everything will fit underneath it. So I took this out just for ease of access. The entire room, all the floor space in here was filled up with stuff from all the floors upstairs, to the point where you literally, you couldn't walk over there at all. I mean, it was up to here with boxes and junk. Just stuff. Literally, there's still some stuff in here. Bicycles are still in here. You can see some right there. But the gentleman, when they fixed this, so this air return here goes up all the way up to the attic, and that where it brings, there's vents in the attic where it sucks air from the top floor and brings it all the way back down. And since water ran down this piece all the way down and puddled on top of that box had to be replaced. That tubing had to be replaced. But again, the HVAC guy, number one, was just amazed by the train, the layout, and he was just like, absolutely, he said, this is totally enough space to get under that, and he said, I can do that, no problem. And I didn't have to disassemble that for him to get in and out, even though in my worst case scenario, you know, building of the layout, that was meant to come out. So I'm thankful for it didn't have to. Out here, I had to replace all of this floor all the way over to there, all the way back to this point right in here. Well, that's all new. I've probably never shown you this before, but this is the basement. All of this, all the walls have been redone and painted. Hired that out. Walls in here all redone, painted. Hired that out. I had to have access to this wall, so all this had to come out. Toilet was in the tub forever. Had painted that while it was out, the vanity, and just reinstalled it, painted with oil-based paint, reinstalled it at the same top. Eventually that'll get a new top, new sink and everything, but just not right now. These walls had, since the water ran down these walls, you can see rivulets, and they said you won't ever just be able to paint over that. So we had to skim coat the entire hall, you know, down the hallway here, and then I repainted it. So it was absolute disaster. And again, I'm not even touching on, you know, what went on upstairs in the middle and upper floors. I had to pull up all the flooring in the front half of the main floor of the house, and it was a wood floor that I'd put in, you know, hardwoods I'd put in less than a year earlier. So it was absolute Hades for 6 months. And you can still see signs. I mean, these trees I just laugh at. You know, they're eBay, or not eBay, but Amazon, cheap somethings. Some old puff balls I found, and I just throw these in here just for, you know, view break and just to have something, you know, green on the layout. As you can see, it's funny, just different spots where focus, the stuff came through the cracks in the ceiling and ended up on the layout in so many different places. You can see more here, and so many of you know, more here. Just how some of this got, you know, into some of the places it got to, I'm just astounded. More here. So it's been quite the ordeal. So this is literally February 16th, somewhere in there. This will be, like I said, the first time I've run trains since August, or last year. Just because I, excuse me, though I did, you know, Scale Trains came out with their new SD40s-2s, and I had those on order for 2 years, and I ordered too many. Because when I ordered them, the layout was double-decked, and now it is single-decked. I think I've gone over that in a previous video, but these things are absolutely gorgeous. I've run one on DC on the layout. It sounds like, you know, it buzzes, but it is, you know, but they all run, just to make sure they all ran. No real need to have them running at the moment. Plenty of locos for the 1 or 2 trains I can run now, but 3 of those are scale trains, 2 of them are Intermountain, and I don't understand why this thing keeps not focusing, but it's making the crappiest video, I imagine. So I ordered 6. Frankly, I'm only going to keep 3. So if you probably put them on eBay here before too long, once the allocations run out at different places, and a couple people go, hey, wait a minute, I wish I'd ordered one of those. We'll see. I don't want to make a ton of money, but I just make enough to pay for shipping and whatnot. But I didn't order too many. I didn't order them just to have them to sell. I'll tell you that. Again, when the layout was two levels, I mean, that's what I needed. But pretty happy with the way they look. We'll see how get a decoder in one of them before here too long and get it up and running, but got other things I got to spend money on before. My wife was, 2 years ago, it was, oh yeah, no problem. But, after the house blows up and, we're different things, it's always funny how, stuff comes in and you need stuff. Money's just different at different times. But, it is what it is. So I'll keep 3, sell 3, and then hopefully Scale Trains does their GP30s, because it'll make that thing go away. As much as I want to go, you know what? Yeah, I built my own. There's so much else I got to do besides, finish custom high nose locomotive transitions. And my painting and decaling is just not up to par these days. A and B, I just have so little time to do it. But it's fun to get them running again. And just trying to remember where I was and with what projects and whatnot. But we'll get to it. I'll start trying to get down here a little bit more often. Now that, the world is not ending. And get some of this yard track work back here finished up. A couple places on the layout where I know I got things I got to do. I need a turnout here for Sheffield steel. I was just looking at this, about 5 minutes before I started this video, and said, man, doing big buildings is like cool, but it really does overpower this chunk of the layout at this moment. And I'm just like, So I may reduce the size of this. I'm not going to change the size of the bench work here, but I may reduce the size of the building. But, then again, I may not. So I need to turn out there. There's the old Y where the L and N crossed and went to Dysautonomia, but I mean, that was 30 years before, plus before this layout's time of mid-1970s, 1975-ish, as I call it. You can see the track transitions here to code 80. Got a bunch of that left over from where I, had the lowest level of staging when I was still doing, 2 decks and lower level staging. So I said, what, ran out of code 55, so I need to get some 55 back, a couple more turnouts. So it's probably gonna be the next thing I work on, is get that rest of that code 55 track sitting here and get that in. So that's gonna be Flexco. Again, just have really made some different, decisions about what the layout is. So 6th Street, Robbins is not gonna be an industry anymore. I've got enough, it has enough to do to keep me and frankly anybody I have with me, occupied. So this will be the 6th Street railroad crossing in here. It probably won't be exactly right here, but it's gonna be right here somewhere. That's gonna be Flexco, where that track's sitting. And then there's the 74 overpass, 72, 74 is here in Charlotte. eventually, again, this more than likely will flip to the back. I mean, it's supposed to be railroad on that side anyway. So I keep thinking I'm gonna move it to the back, bring the main in on the front side here, and then swing to the back for the helix over there and put these industries back on the back side. But again, may not. And again, just the temporary staging tracks over here on the shoe fly, I guess would be the way to put it. And just everything on the world stuffed under the helix for storage. Still got stuff under here. Audio amplifier, stool. Again, since I've gotten all the junk out of here for the most part, I've really tried to clean up a little bit, tidy up a little bit. I had these shelving, 2 shelf bases were out in the garage. My wife was very kind this year, Christmas-wise, and got me a new tool chest. And so these became surplus from the garage, and I just couldn't bring myself to throw them away. I've had them for, geez, they got to be 25 years old, if anything. Clean all the junk, clean all the tools and everything, all the stuff I had stuffed in the garage out there, and brought them in. Excuse me. And we'll be using them for storage. And yeah, I cut into the structure under there, put those in, because again, I'm not going to have that lower level anymore, so I don't need that. Just some random things thrown in there at the moment. There's those extra scale trains and another intermountain box. So again, there's all that code 80 from lower level staging, which I took out. Staging will now be on that level at some point, but that's way down the line. This is, again, as I change the upper level, I get, that's, some of these things are again, reused. I mean, it's all reused, and so I'm just storing stuff under there. Yeah, a bunch of stuff from teaching I just can't bear to throw out at the moment, but I'm gonna find somebody to give that to. Soldering stuff for feeders, but glass, frankly, just, and then this big piece of plywood, 3/4, well, it's not quite 3/4 inch, but decent piece of plywood was, again, during the disruption, my daughter had to sleep down here when her room was totally, had to get stripped out. So we put her down here and just bought this piece of plywood, put her mattress on top of it, and on a couple of cinder blocks down here, just to have it, make sure it was off the floor, and anything that was going on underneath the floor before we get to replace the floor. And then now that we got everybody back upstairs, now I have this nice piece of plywood that if I need to build any bench work, I can rip it down, because all the bench work is ripped down plywood, just for trying to get more stable than the current dimensional, well, inexpensive dimensional lumber. So it's not dead, it's not gone, just spent a long time in hibernation, and I will start trying to figure out exactly where I am in things, and start picking it back up, and looking forward to start making some progress on this again. And the other funny thing was about dragging these out. Look at the old puffball trees from when I was running, had some N-track modules and these hunks of junk, and I'm just like, wow. I said, tree technology has come so long that when you look at Scenic Express and the trees that their tree system is just so much more realistic. And it's like, well, like some of the guys on some of the forums are like, when you get to that point, you just got to start making trees and making trees and making trees. And for a lot of them, it's just like, yep, that's all you do for a little while is make trees every night. be fun to get to that point where I need that many trees, but I just gonna finish and get the track work on and up and running, and we'll see. If it'd be a nice day to get to the point where you do need, I need to make trees. Well, if you've watched this, I do appreciate you watching. And because, and the reason I'm actually even doing this video is that I had jumped on YouTube. I was showing one of my students, just reminiscing about when I had to teach during the pandemic, that I was putting lessons online. And so when I went back and looked at some of those, and yeah, they get the odd hit here and there, some kid looking for information about a subject. But I did notice that my layout videos had a number of hits. I was just like, So I was like, all right, when I get back to it, I'll throw another one up. I'm sure somebody will watch it. And just based on my own searching for other Southern Railway layouts, there just aren't that many. So appreciate you watching, if you're watching. And hopefully start working on this thing again. Thanks.